Back in 2024, I found this house for sale, and look, there's having some vision, and then there's this. The house has been abandoned for a number of years, and when you see inside, I just want to let you know there's a big difference between what you see on camera and how it looks to how it feels walking into a house that hasn't had anything done to it for like 50, maybe 60 years. The smell of damp and animals that have clearly been living in this house is disgusting. And when I get to the kitchen, I'm going to show you a photo of what it looked like the day that I collected the keys. It's genuinely disgusting, and I didn't film any of clearing the house because I just wanted to get it done. It took an entire day and two 12-yard skips to remove everything, and the previous owner was a hoarder, clearly. I mean, there was rooms just full of brand new books. I mean, there were potatoes stored in random places. Like, I'm not even joking. There's just potatoes everywhere. I don't understand what was going on with the potatoes. But the house itself is a good house. There's nothing really wrong with it, except for everything that's wrong with it. I mean, okay, I don't know why I said that. Everything is wrong with it. It's got leaks. It's got damp. It's got mouses. Wait, what's the plural of a mouse? Mice. Oh, that's it. It's got mices. It's got rats. It's got everything living in this house. And after hoovering it, cleaning it, this is what it looked like. It just looked bad still, and panic started setting because, look, mortgage payments on this place, it's aggressive, and at the moment I don't really see what I'm paying for. So the plan for this video is to see how much I can do in only 3 days to get this place more livable. And the first thing I want to do is take all the wallpaper off, paint it, remove all the carpets because I think that's what's holding all of the smell, and then gut the kitchen and sand the floors because under the carpet is a surprise. And by the way, I've never ever sanded wooden floors before, so if you see me doing anything wrong, it's because I genuinely have no idea what I'm doing. In actual fact, with everything that you see me doing, I have no real clue. Well, okay, that's not really true. I've done quite a lot of houses, but I don't really have a very good memory, so I kind of have to start again on every single house, and I'm watching the same YouTube videos. And when I took this kitchen out, did I turn the electric off when I cut through a cable? No. So remember, power off when you start doing deconstruction. Turn the water off as well. I remembered to do that, just not the electrics. That was bad. Get a fire extinguisher day one, because the tiny home that caught on fire. The tiny home, by the way, is still there. I'm still working on it. My priority is obviously the bigger projects, so you know, I'm not gonna spend time on that when I got things like this going on. This is how I make a living, is making beautiful homes, and then also managing my portfolio, which is something that people genuinely get surprised with every single time I tell them this, that I do property develop, but I make all of my money really from the stock market. And weirdly, the two are exactly the same things. You're finding something that is unappreciated, it's undervalued, and you think that with time and development, other people are going to start to notice that there is value there. And if you can beat them to it and say you're buying Palantir at $8 a share and then it gets to 180, you make a lot of money. And this is actually the first house I have ever paid for by borrowing against my stock portfolio, which a lot of people don't know you can do. Like, most people in the UK don't invest in the stock market, and I don't really know why they don't. And people will say, oh, I just have no clue how to do it, or like, well, where to begin. And it's like, well, start figuring it out, because the chances of you coming up with a company like Nvidia or Tesla or Robinhood is very, very low, but you can buy shares in those incredible companies. And if the companies continue to perform well and grow, then your shares value grows. And at some point in the future, 5-10 years, you can sell said share. And in the UK, you get £20,000 a year. You can invest in a stocks and shares ISA. That capital gains, the increase in value, you get to keep and not pay any capital gains tax on it. And if you have no idea on investing and how the whole stock market really works, I don't have a course to sell you. All I have is just like a weekly newsletter. It costs less than the price of a pint. And there's over 100 newsletters I post every single Sunday, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. And also I write about projects like this and what's been going on during the week. You can either search Havesomevision on Substack or click the link in the description. And also to everyone who's been reading the newsletters, I can't thank you enough. It's insane how many of you are reading it. And every time I get sent screenshots of people who listen to things that I wrote about a year ago, it's mad. And if I can speed run all of you to know what I've learnt in the form of weekly newsletters that you can be reading whilst you're at work, because that's the loophole with newsletters, is this YouTube video you can't watch at your desk, but a newsletter you can get away with reading. And that's why I think it's been so successful. And without investing the way that I do, what you'd be watching right now wouldn't exist. And whenever it's stuff to do with the stock market, people love to go, oh, you got lucky. If you get lucky 7 times, is that luck? Is it luck when I made $500,000 on my first ever project? Was it luck when I went 0 to 100,000 on Instagram? And then people were like, oh yeah, but that's Instagram, that's easy because, people don't have very long attention spans. YouTube's impossible. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try doing that. 0 to 100,000. Took 5 years, admittedly. Okay, it took me a long time. Did that as well. But I got told it was impossible to do that. And what concerns me is how many of you get told things are impossible, you're never going to be able to do that, and you listen to them. Whenever somebody is telling you you can't do something, look at that person's life and ask yourself, why am I listening to this person? Have they done anything? Have they? Because I know a lot of rich people now. And rich people always want you to succeed because they know that there's so much money in the world that you becoming successful doesn't take anything away from them. Whereas with others, it's pure crabs in a bucket mentality, tall poppy syndrome, the lot. And I don't even know how I got here. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. I could be explaining that I'm taking up the carpet and I'm whatever. But honestly, it's like people love just watching a transformation and they're like, oh, I'd love to do that, and then they just don't do anything about it. And then the reason why is, oh, I ain't got the money. And it's like, okay, well, there's the problem, let's find the solution to it. Go make money. Oh yeah, but I don't know how. Are you going to look into how? No, gonna just go watch Love Island and then go to the pub, watch the footy, and then that's it. Yeah, mush, don't really earn very much on my job, so I'm not really going to invest. Okay, well, maybe get a different job. Oh, I can't, it's impossible. You tried? Did you? Do you know how many jobs I applied for? A lot. I went from a labourer to working in finance. That's a pivot. And yeah, I go on a lot about money on this channel. This is nothing new to people who are subscribed to the channel. It's kind of what made this channel. I'm always going to keep going on about it because money is everything, because it can change everything. Your health, your time, location freedom, it actually has an effect on everything, and therefore it is everything. And how do you make money? Well, there's only really 4 ways you ever make money. You either inherit it, well, that ain't happening for you. And then you've got the product service business, meaning you're creating a business from scratch. It's possible. And then the other 2 are the stock market and the property market. And those 2 are what every single extremely wealthy person I know has immense exposure to. The property market is the easiest, most difficult thing you will ever do. I've said this so many times. It is so simple, but it's also so difficult. And the difficult part is keeping on going. And then that combined, like the profits you make from projects, or maybe you have no interest of getting into property and it's the savings from your job. You push that into the stock market, into companies which, put simply, just have exciting futures. And in the market right now, all I can really see is about 6 that are actually doing something. Obviously there's more, but for me, and with my level of conviction that I need to have to actually part with my money, because, Chris, why are you doing all this work on your house? Why don't you employ someone? Because I want to save money. How much is the house worth, Chris? Yeah, sharp. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. I think it's like something that happens to your brain when you appreciate how much effort it takes to make money. It's hard to part with it. And yeah, I can calmly pay for some labourers, but I don't want to. And I know it doesn't make sense to people, but what doesn't make sense to me is that the average person in the UK wastes £4,000 a year. And I don't have to tell you the things that are a waste of money because you know them. But if you had invested that annually on the 31st of January, and you did that every year from, say, 2021 to 2025 into companies like Nvidia, Tesla, Palantir, and Meta, well, in total, over those 5 years, you would have invested £20,000. And at the time of recording this video, that £20,000 invested would be worth £124,602. In only 5 years, only 20 grand invested. And did you notice how I mentioned individual companies and not a fund? And if you don't know what a fund is, it's essentially a basket of different companies that's well diversified to reduce your risk. But if you reduce your risk and you diversify for the sake of diversifying, that in itself is actually a risk because you're not betting on what you see immense potential in. It's like, for example, this project you're looking at right now. Imagine I thought to myself, that is where the money's at. I need to buy that. But I can only allocate 10% of my portfolio to riskier assets, like an abandoned house. Okay, so I'm going to go and buy some project that's safer, but there's not the money in it. It's not how life works, unfortunately. And also something that a Deutsche Bank portfolio manager told me 6 months into working in finance. And for those of you who don't know, I used to be a labourer earning £17,000 a year. Realised this is not what I want my life to be like. Redid a year at school, turned the fails into a little bit better than fails, like no insane grades at all, but I needed them because getting good grades is honestly like a ticket to get on a bus. If you don't have a ticket, you're not getting on the bus. And there are apprenticeship schemes in finance where you don't need grades, but the one that I went for, I needed reasonable grades. And at 18, I moved to London on my own, started working for a FTSE 100 asset manager, had a AUM of just under 400 billion at that time. And it was the best, worst decision of my life because obviously you can use your job as a tool because you can borrow 5.5 times your salary. So it was good and it was essential to getting me where I am today. But the bad bit is I got to see behind the curtain of who manages money. It's terrifying. Morons. These idiots all the way to the top. And yeah, they've got the academic background, but I mean, a vast majority of people that I worked with were trust fund kids who have had a private tutor since they were a fetus, so their 3A stars don't really count for anything. I mean, you give anyone in the UK that sort of education and upbringing, yeah, it's going to be different to someone like me who's got, 45 people in a class, a teacher who's scrolling Instagram, like 60% of the guys are in young offenders already. It's a little bit of a different education, and if you manage to get any sort of good grade, it's a real accomplishment, and that means more. And trust me, the people at the top of these companies, they all know this. But anyway, back to what the portfolio manager told me when I had literally just started working in finance. He said, Chris, I just want to remind you one thing. Never invest in a fund. And I said to him, I was like, yeah, this is what I don't understand is why are people investing in this when they can just buy the obvious buys? Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on in the world and which companies will benefit. And he goes, yeah, exactly. But people want an authority figure to tell them what to do without ever thinking, who is this authority figure? And he also admitted to me something that he's the only person I've ever heard say this. He said, you've got to remember, fund managers have a constant weight of their yearly appraisal bearing down on their decisions. Every year their performance is scrutinised and the portfolio's short-term returns dictate their bonus and their job security. And these fund managers, they have the nice house in Chelsea, and with that aggressive mortgage payment on it, they need the short-term wins. And I remember talking to a fund manager who works in a hedge fund when I was buying Palantir, and I was like, why aren't you buying this? And he goes, well, I think it will take probably 2 years to play out, and I need the performance for this year. That's it. It's not because the potential's not there. It's they think very short term. Whereas I think more like a property developer, where it might take me a year to find a site, then 2 years to get planning, then 3 years to build the houses. And once you've added all of that up, that's 6 years from start to finish. And when it's ended, I've made a huge amount of money because it's a long-term vision. Same applies for investing in the stock market. It's always 5-10 years. I mean, I do some short-term stuff. Like this year, everyone who reads my weekly newsletter will know there's a 117% return on SMCI in 2 weeks. That was a trade. The rest is all investing for the long term. And there's one company right now that I am buying aggressively. Like, I have more invested in this single company than I do in property. And I only expect to see a return on that in 5-10 years. I really recommend you search Havesomevision on Substack or click the link in the description and start reading. And if I mention my newsletter for a third time in this video, I'm not saying I will, I might, but you got to ask yourself, why would he be doing this? Is it to make money? Well, you can think that, but the newsletter honestly is the least amount of money I earn each month. I even make more from YouTube. Last month I made £24,000 just from YouTube ad revenue. No brand deals, no nothing. Just the ads that play at the start. My channel somehow has got a £7.30 RPM now. Don't really understand how that works, but RPM means revenue per mil. Mil is the French word for 1,000. Revenue per 1,000 views. Every 1,000 views a video gets, I get £7. So if a video does 1 million views, I get £7,000. And I had one video go insane and it made a lot of money. Now, what did I do with that money? Did I go stage 3 the RS6? No, I reinvested the money. I bought a new camera, well, a new iPhone. So this is filming in 4K now, which I'm pretty impressed with how good the quality is on iPhones. It does use a lot of memory, so you've got to buy the iPhone with the most memory to actually be able to film a full YouTube video. Like, I used 400 gigabytes of memory in 3 days on this project. And then I also had to buy a new laptop because editing 4K, the previous laptop just couldn't deal with it. So I bought some new stuff for the business that made that money, and the rest of it went into the 6 companies that I'm heavily investing in right now. And I think people don't understand this because they see a big house like this, but they don't realize that you don't start here. You start by rolling a little snowball down a hill and it gets bigger and bigger, and it's a compound effect. It's loads of different things. Like right now I have 8 sources of income per month. It's taken 11 years to get to 8 sources of income. 3 of them didn't exist this time last year. You've always got to be pivoting and finding something new, because what I've seen anyway from people that I know is they get very lazy and complacent. And when money dries up, they keep going back to the watering hole that's now dry. There's nothing there anymore. You've got to keep pivoting, finding something new. And the end result is you earn a lot per month, more than you need. When you earn more than you need, you can reinvest into slightly riskier assets and allow time to do its thing and generate pretty unbelievable returns. And for me, a good year is like 70%. That's what I try to do every single year. And the rest of the world seems to be happy with investing in a fund that does nothing. And to say thank you for them doing nothing, you have to pay them a fee. So yeah, you're better off just investing in the S&P 500. I mean, 10 to 20% a year. There'll be every now and then a bad year, but historically you'll do well. And with time, it's amazing because even if you buy at the worst times ever, meaning like at the all-time highs, if enough time passes, people look back and go, oh, I wish I'd bought at that price. And do you know what? I think I'm going to change my mind on what I want to talk about in this video. I think I'm just going to information dump as much as I can in one video, because I think I've got only a few more YouTube videos I'm going to upload, because I'm thinking of buying a sailing boat, like a 110-foot one, and just sailing around the world in like 3 years. So I'm only going to do, I've got this project and then 2 more that I want to film. And then I think that's there's probably going to be a few more videos, and then I'm gone. And then the sailing boat will allegedly sink, and then I just disappear. And then I'm in the mountains. And I'm just on side quests, and then I end up in the Himalayas. But I think this is probably the most important thing I can tell you when it comes to investing. And I just want you to remember, I don't have a 9 to 5. I quit the 9 to 5 in 2023. I haven't set an alarm since. What I did and am still doing, it works. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can see it. Like, look at my channel. There's not many people my age doing the things that I'm doing. And when it comes to investing, I don't know why people don't ever really talk about things like this, but you're essentially just placing a bet. Now, you can do a lot of due diligence and you can look into a company, understand it, and you can make an attempt to model it and predict the future, but you're going to be wrong every single time. You don't know what the share price is going to be in 5 years. You can speculate, for sure, and that's what I do, but it's a guess. Whereas with property, it's probable and it is possible that you're going to sell it in a year or two for X price. You actually have a little bit of evidence to see, okay, a done-up house that's been extended will sell on this road for X price, and that's sold in 2023. Well, if I'm buying it for this and I can haggle and get the price down, and by the way, I got £280,000 off the asking price on this house by just being like, look, mate, I can't offer any more than this. I could, but he didn't know that. Because your boy can haggle, and I've done a lot of newsletters on haggling. I told you I'd promote it for the third time. I'm just really proud of my newsletter, okay? And I think it really will help a lot of people. But with this house and buying it for that price, I placed a bet of that price. It's an immense bet. And even worse than that, it's levered. I borrowed the money to place the bet. That's terrifying. But again, it's probable and it's possible. With the stock market, it is possible for the companies that I'm investing in to go up a considerable amount. But then it's the probability. How long will it take for the story to play out? That's where it's a little bit different. And that's why I push property so much, is because it's so replicable. Like, every house is different. There's going to be new things you're going to learn every single time, and you're going to panic, cry a little bit, but you know what you're really getting into before you buy it. When it comes to investing in the stock market, it is a little bit different. And yes, you can be as arrogant as you want and say, oh yeah, it's getting to this price. You don't know. You've just placed a bet, and you're hoping that with enough time and execution of the company, the thesis is going to come true. And my only guiding principle when it comes to investing is, if you believe that a company is going to win in future industries and the value of those future industries will be worth more than the value of the company today, then you invest in it. That's it. You don't hear people mention this a lot either, which is, instead of chasing higher returns, as in going from 40% return in a year to 140%, what you should look into doing is allocating more capital to a 40% return. That's why I still do property developing, because on actual real money invested, I'm doing just over 600% return on the actual real cash that I have invested ever in a project. The rest is all levered. And I've done some newsletters on this, how I borrow more money than the project costs, and then I use that borrowed money to pay the interest payments, which sounds illegal, but it's 100% legit. And everybody I know who's a developer does it. And that's probably blown a lot of your minds, but the fact is, school doesn't teach you this stuff. Like, again, people look up to an authority figure like an adult without realizing that, well, that adult was a teenager, then they got into their 20s, still hadn't figured stuff out, then they're in their 30s, and then they haven't figured things out, and now they're 40. And a lot of my teachers were 40-year-olds who were failures. Like, we all have this glamorous idea that teachers are incredible people and they're on the same level of like people who work in healthcare and stuff like that. It's just not true. The teachers I had, there was this maths teacher who genuinely had anger problems, and I can remember him screaming at my class, and I started laughing because I found it hilarious. And he then went on a mad rant at me, and I started laughing more because it's just embarrassing watching, like, imagine a 40-year-old shouting at some 17-year-olds. It's just weird to think that that person hasn't developed to realize that that's wrong and not to be able to control his emotions. And he went on a rant and basically went, oh yeah, you think you're gonna go to university, Chris, and you're probably gonna end up as a bricklayer the rest of your life. And also, why is that so bad? I know some bricklayers who actually make quite a lot of money and they enjoy their life. Like, people love to knock the trades. They really do. They're like, oh yeah, they're easy. Oh yeah, if you're dumb at school, you're gonna end up in the building trade. And there's examples of that for sure. But then when someone is faced with then, okay, you go do that work. You go plaster your house, do the electrics, plumbing, paint it, scaffolding, carpentry, tiling. Go do it. Oh no, I can't do that. I need to get someone who's got a lot of knowledge and experience on that. So on the one hand, you're slating it and saying if you're bad at school, then you end up in that sort of work. And then on the other hand, when you're faced with DIYing it, you're saying you don't have the experience or intelligence to do it. And then also when faced with the fact that you realize that, I'm going to upset a lot of you right now. I know a plasterer who has a small business. It's like 3 guys and him. And he makes 80 grand a year. Okay, he's got a very nice house, and he also develops his own houses on top of that. But remember, my maths teacher would think that that person's a dummy because he went to university, got into a load of debt, started working in his 20s, whereas my mate is a plasterer. We started at 16. So that means when the property market's going up in price, He's being able to earn money, save quicker, and therefore he's getting into the property market before everybody else. If tech companies continue growing the way that they're growing, well, if he's actually investing money into the stock market 4 or 5 years before other people who are going down in their net worth because of debt, then who is smarter? And another thing, I'm prepared to lose everything every single year. And the reason why I don't care about doing that and why I take such risks is because nothing bad can ever happen. Now people go, oh no, but lots can go wrong, Chris. Okay, well that's very revealing, because so your worst case scenario of a business failing or an investment failing is going back to a 9 to 5. Well, that's really revealing, because if I had said 9 to 5s are boring, they're the worst thing I've ever done, then people go, no, I enjoy my 9 to 5. But you just said that the worst case scenario is going back to that. I can't pretend to you that I get it even slightly. I will never have another 9 to 5 in my life, because now that I've experienced what it's like to be your own boss, if this year I want to go on holiday for 2 weeks or 2 months or the next 2 years or the next 20 years, I can. That's freedom. And anything that costs you your freedom costs too much. And my 9 to 5 cost me my 5 days a week. I remember asking for time off work to go on holidays with my friends, and they'd all managed to get the time off. And I couldn't, because my manager was a see you next Tuesday. I don't want to wake up to an alarm. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want to do the things in the day that I want to do. And you can say, oh yeah, but that's just dreaming. Well, it's my reality, so it's possible. You watching this video, there is something that you have an interest in. You don't understand why you have an interest in it. It could be cars, it could be baking cakes, it could be carpentry. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can somehow make enough money to survive from that thing, you will enjoy your life so much more. And as somebody who genuinely used to hate their life, like I hated Monday to Sunday, the only thing I enjoyed was being on the phone with my friends. Because remember, I moved to London on my own. And when I got there, I was like, oh, I don't think this is the right place for me, but the jobs are here. I hated it. And I think sometimes people, they give up too soon. I stayed at that job for 6, 7 years, and I hated every moment of it. I despised the people I worked with. I despised the work. It was awful, but I kept going. If you keep going long enough and you stick with things, it is amazing how often opportunities start to come up. And then you've got to have the confidence to take the opportunity. Now remember, I was working in finance and developing properties when I started a YouTube channel. The reason I started the channel was there was an opportunity I saw, which was I was getting actually close to being able to leave my 9 to 5 in 2023. And I thought, I'm going to document this, because chances are there'll be other people out there like me, which is actually quite a worrying thought. But if there is, it might give them some confidence seeing there's someone else who's crazy enough to set these insanely ambitious targets. Like, I remember people literally saying to me, how are you planning on leaving the 9 to 5 in 2023? Like, that's 2 years away. How are you going to do that? Like, at your age? And I did it. But people would say I couldn't do it. And it's like I said earlier, whenever somebody is telling you you can't do something, it's impossible, you need to be more realistic, you should really look into who that person is and see if they've got any experience, they know anything. I was building a bar in Spain in 2022, and my friend's absolute dinlo of a friend came in and in Spanish started telling me that what I was doing was wrong, that I was building the bar incorrectly. And I remember my friend just telling me to not get involved. And then once the guy left, I was like, why was he saying I'm doing it wrong? Like, is he a carpenter or something? Like, what I'm doing is correct. I don't understand why he's saying I'm doing it wrong. My mate goes, yeah, look, Chris, I don't even understand what just happened. I don't know why he started telling you what to do. I go, well, is he in the building trade? He goes, no, he works in a supermarket. He sacks shelves. I can guarantee watching this video, there'll be people watching this and they'll think, well, first off, they'll think, oh, I don't like how he's coming across. I wish he would talk about how to unscrew shelves. Like, that would be more interesting. But I don't care. I'm not making this video for you. I'm making it for a younger version of me who would have given everything to see somebody actually do what I dreamt was possible. I always knew it was possible to get rich at a young age. I actually knew it. And whenever I go on these little rants about things, which I'm previous for doing, but I've had 2 double espressos today, so my heart rate's like, is gone. So people love to go, yeah, but having a family and relationships, that's what's really important. Who said that they're not? You don't have to give up all of those things. You might need to think a little bit more carefully about things, like maybe I'll do 2 more projects, then I'll have children. And you might have to pick a little bit more carefully the partner in crime that you have, because you're essentially looking for a needle in a haystack, because you're looking for another person with disgusting work ethic and discipline, which is rare, but it's 100% possible, easily. And in fact, if you can find a girlfriend who's with it, they get it, you're going to go way further than if you're on your own. Like this whole, if you want to go fast, go alone, oh, you need to be single for all these years to achieve these things. It's just not true. If you're with the right person, it's effortless. If you're with the wrong person, it's going to be a nightmare. You can still do all these things. And yes, it might take a little bit more sacrifice initially, but in the future, the reality is better than you can ever imagine. Until you achieve like the ultimate FU position, no 9 to 5, financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, until you achieve it, then you know it was worth it. And one of the questions that I always get asked about is, oh, but how do you deal with burnout? What's burnout? Do you want to become successful? Yes or no? Do you want to achieve the goal? Yes or no? If you stop, the progress stops. But Chris, I don't feel like it doesn't matter. I don't understand people. I really don't. They consider how they feel before they do things. I don't get it. Once upon a time, I would have. Okay, I remember I didn't want to concentrate at school. I'd rather go to the skate park, and then I failed. So I was like, oh, okay, I kind of need to concentrate, don't I? Put the effort in, and then I got good grades. It's funny that, isn't it? It's funny as well, because when I got a U in maths A-level, everyone was like, yeah, but Chris, some people just can't do maths. And I was like, I don't think it's a case of not being able to do maths. I think it's the fact that I'm not doing any revision. And then I did it and I got a B. But when I told people I got a B, the response was, oh, well, some people are just good at subjects like maths. I could never do that. I was like, but you told me the exact opposite last year. You told me the reason I failed was because I was one of the type of people who can't do maths. And now that I've done well in it, you've taken it away from me by saying, oh, some people are just naturally good at those subjects. But you've taken away the effort that I put in. I made a decision to go back a year. It was embarrassing as anything. People took the mick out of me because I was the only person who went back a year. It's like that level of sort of embarrassment of being a failure, I think it was crucial, because now nothing's really as bad as an entire year at school knowing you're the only person who failed. Like the only person. It's like, now what's going to happen? What? Okay, my business fails and I go back and get a 9 to 5. Is that bad? If it's that bad, then that's, again, like I said, it's very revealing. And something else that might help some of you, if you've got one person you trust, and I mean you've really got to trust this person, it might be worth giving them a call and putting forward an idea to get into property investing together. Because if you think about it, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for my brother and me combining our salaries to get into property at an insane rate. Because remember, you can have multiple people on a mortgage. I know of people who have done it with 5 friends to buy a massive house, and that massive house didn't even cost that much when you divide it by 5. You've got to write up a deed of trust, so whatever you've put into the project, you know you're going to get back. It's all legal, it's all correct. And am I saying it's going to be effortless and easy? No. And you've got to really trust the other person, because if my brother was working harder on a project than I was, it would irritate him if we were then to split the profit perfectly. So you need to make sure you're a team and you're working together. And just remember, with 2 people, the deposit is split by 2. The renovation cost is split by 2. And the work is split by 2. Are house prices now insane? Yes. Is everything more expensive? Yes. Does that mean you have to work harder? Yes. Is that fair? No. Is there anything I can do about it? No. My view on things is just shut up and get on with it, because the longer it takes to get your foot in the door of these places, the more expensive they're going to get. Will there be a massive correction at some point in the property market? No. People who say that there will be a big correction, they don't understand ABS. They just don't. When everything that happened in 2020 happened, look what I did. I saw what was going on and I got on with what I knew I could control. And I think that's how I've always, I have a lot of things going on. People go, oh, how do you deal with the stress? There's moments where I don't very well at all, but I really just focus on what I can control. And I also analyse my life. And I go, I've survived every single day of my life, even all the really bad things that have happened. I survived them. So that's quite a lot of past performance to indicate future performance. I probably will be able to handle whatever's coming down the line. And what's in the future is daunting. This project that you're seeing now is going to be one to remember. And 2 days ago, I got planning permission on it. And that is something that I cannot wait to share with you. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and if it's not too much to ask, if you can send this video to one friend, it will double this video's exposure. And am I really going to promote my Substack for a 4th time in a single video? Read the newsletter. There's a link in the description, or search Havesomevision on Substack. I've drank way too much coffee today. I think I need to reduce the caffeine intake because this is too much. My heart's going to stop in a minute. So I'll see you not next Thursday, but in a Thursday in the future. Sweet. In a bit.